Hello everyone. In this video, we will discuss about memory management. How the storage management will be there in the system. How we can able to store the programs as well as the operating system in the memory. So that is what we are going to discuss in this video. So first of all, I would like to tell about what we actually do in uni-programming system and how it differs from the multi-programming concept. So in case of uni-programming system, the memory has been divided into two sections. So one is used for storing OS and the other part of the memory will be used for storing the current program, whichever we want to execute. So that current program will be stored in the other part of the memory. So in this way, memory will be divided and the current program will be executed in. So here, in case of multi-programming, the memory has been divided into two. One is for operating system and other division is used for storing the multiple process. So we need to divide the other part of the memory into several sections. In each and every section, we used to store the different process. So here, the task of subdivision, which is done by dynamically, so all these separation or the division of all the sections is done by dynamically, and who will do this all, which is nothing but the operating system. So the task of dividing the memory dynamically by the operating system is said to be memory management. So memory management is nothing but how it is deciding or how it is dividing the part of memory in order to store several processes, and when it is actually performing that subdivision. So all those tasks and a process of making all those subdivision is said to be, and during dynamically, which is nothing but memory management. And this memory management could be more effective in case of multi-programming system. Suppose if you have only few number of process in the main memory, so then all the process, if suppose all the process are waiting for the IO devices or IO operation to be done, so what happens is the processor will sit idle, it will not get any one of the process. So we should not keep the process in that manner. So as I told, the process number of process whatever we have in the main memory should be the combination of IO bound process as well as CPU bound process. CPU bound process, which are nothing but it takes more time in order to perform all the operations by the CPU, whereas IO bound process, it takes more time in order to perform all the operations by IO devices. So we should have a good mix of these two kinds of process, then only we can utilize the memory effectively. Not only the memory, we can utilize the processor very well. So this could be effective memory management as well as the processor utilization. So here the we should start with the memory management terms, and afterwards we will discuss about the memory management requirements. So what do you mean by memory management term? So we have actually three terms. So first one is frame, page and segment. Frame is nothing but a fixed length block of main memory. So that is what frame, which means, so if you have, these are all said to be the blocks. So if you have the fixed size for each and every block, so say for example it holds up to 10 bytes of program, it holds up to 10 bytes, which is the size of the block is fixed for all the blocks in the main memory. That is what frame. So fixed size blocks, which is nothing but frame. Whereas pages is nothing but a fixed length block of data, but it will be stored in the secondary memory, not in main memory. And a page of data may temporarily be copied into the frame of the main memory. So that is what pages. So pages we can get only from secondary memory. So if you want to execute any of the page, temporarily it should be copied into the main memory, and it is obviously it is a fixed one, fixed size a block, and we used to call it as a page. And the next one, segment. So what do you mean by segment? Segment is nothing but a variable length block of data that resides in secondary memory. So that is what segment. It is not a fixed length block, it is a variable length block of data. An entire segment may temporarily be copied into an available region of main memory, or the segment may be divided into pages which can be individually copied into the main memory. So that is what the combination of paging and segmentation. So here also we can get any one of the segment from secondary memory and temporarily we can copy into the main memory for execution. So that is what segmentation. And if you want to have even the pages inside the segment, so we can say combinedly pages and the segmentation. So we can combine these together because segments are different from pages only in the way how we are arranging the blocks. I mean, what could be the size of the blocks? Because in segments we have variable size of variable length of blocks, whereas in pages we have fixed length of blocks. So these are all the memory management terms. Next, we will discuss about memory management requirements. So what do you mean by memory management requirements? So if you want to manage the memory effectively, obviously that could be done by the operating system. First, you need to require all these features. The first one is relocation, protection, sharing, logical organization, and physical organization. So what do you mean by relocation? Suppose if you want to store any one of the process, or let it be a program, right? So if you want to store any one of the program, so in the user area, so if you are working with the multi-programming, the one section will be stored as OS, the other section will be divided into several sections in order to hold the multiple number of process, isn't it? Suppose if a current user is working with this program, so that has been stored in the very first location, he don't know anything about the address information about all other programs. So he knows where his program has been located in the main memory, that's it. Now this user program wants to swap. So which means what? So because of executing this process, he may need some other program also. He may need some other section of the same program, but that is not currently available in this main memory. So that has been available in secondary memory. What he will do? He will get that part of the program from secondary and placed it in the main memory. So for that, if you don't have free space in the main memory, so what we have to do? We have to perform swapping. If you don't have space in the main memory, so you have to perform swapping, which means the old process whatever we have which is not in use for long time, we can swap it. So even for swapping we can follow any of the methodologies. This is one of the common method. Any of the program which is not frequently used or which is not used for the long time, we can swap it. So taking out of the program from the main memory and we are just storing into the disk, okay, and whichever the part of the program you need, that you're going to transfer it from the disk to this same place. That is wherever we got the free space, in that same space we are actually storing the new program. Now he will execute, right? And afterwards, whichever the program he has taken out from the main memory, he has to keep it again. After the completion of its own operation, he has to keep it that same program whatever he have taken out from the main memory. But what he will do, he doesn't know in from which location here it has. Okay, from which location, what could be the address of that physical address or even the logical address of that particular program. He doesn't know about the details of all those address information about the program. So what he will do, he will relocate somewhere in the main memory, not in the exact location. He will say, for example, if he finds this could be the empty space at that time, he will store that particular program in the space itself. So he is actually relocated this particular program. This was the original location, but he has relocated to some other new location in the main memory itself. This is what relocation. So what happens here, this is a kind of issue, so we should avoid it. So we should note down what are all the address references before transferring this particular program, and afterwards when he starts storing that same program into the main memory, so he has to store it in the exact location, not in some other location, right? So if the program is relocatable, then it is highly difficult to find out where it was located, because while we are storing in the main memory, so we should note down, we should OS will take care of all the memory location, what could be the physical address of each and every program whatever we have stored. If you suppose change the location, so it leads to some difficulties. Okay, so here this diagram will explains about um, what could be the address references we have. Suppose if you want to execute one of the program, so we have stored here, and what are all the data you need to execute this program will be stored in the second part. And here we have the stack in order to perform all these execution. So right, so in order to perform any of the operation we need stack, because um, stack is the very simplest data structure to use, and it is more efficient also, right? So rather than other data structure, so if you use the stack organization in order to hold the data as well as the data, then it could be more efficient to perform all the operations, right? So here if you get this branch instruction, so what happens here, so we have to transfer the control from one location to another location. So we need to note down, so what could be the physical address of that particular instruction we're going to execute, right? So that has been mentioned in this instruction itself. Say for example, if you are executing branch instruction, you will be getting the address reference of that instruction. Reference means suppose, so if you have the branch instruction of 50, after 50 locations you can find out what is the instruction to be executed. But this is not said to be the physical address. This is not said to be the physical address, it is just a reference. So after 50 locations you can find that instruction, so you need to find out what is physical address. Okay, you have to add what is the current location whichever of this branch instruction, so you have to add 50 location from that, then you will be getting the physical location, physical address, right? So if you want to get any of the data, so that is what the reference to the data. So here in the same way we will be getting some logical address. With that logical address you need to find out what is the physical address in order to access the data, right? So this is how we are getting the physical address with the help of the reference of any kind of data or instruction in multi-programming system. So other requirements we will discuss in the next video.